I can barely hear.
What?
What?
What are you doing?
How'd I get here?
What are you doing in my room?
I don't know.
This is my room, bud. What's up?
What's up?
How we doing?
Wow.
What's up, everybody?
It's a Christmas miracle.
Holy shit. What's up? It's week 17. It's the Picks podcast. It's times 2.
Wow.
John's going to text me in a minute and make sure everything sounds all right because we got 2 mics right next to each other.
I know, that's crazy.
2 mics that are named the same thing in my software, too.
They're the
that's a
same
fucking trick and a
mics.
half. Oh, well, we're here. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, we had a
Almost
great
Happy New Year.
Christmas.
We had quite an interesting week of football this previous week. But despite us being together, it's not just the two of us today. We've actually got a third person hiding in the background. So let's bring him in. Introducing to the show, Mr. Kyle Frauenheim. What's going on, Kyle?
Great to be here. Thanks, guys, for having me on. I'm happy. It's been, I was really grateful to get the invitation.
Of
and
course.
It's a big week to talk football.
Awesome.
So
so
talk football.
to not make any confusing remarks throughout the course of the show, Kyle, who's usually Kyle, will be KB today.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kyle Frauenheim will be Kyle, just so we're not confused.
I appreciate it.
Yo,
Sorry to take.
It's
sorry
all right.
to
It's
take
the
me away
KBTs
from
for a
an hour
reason.
and half,
Yeah.
Kyle,
So Kyle, a little bit about yourself, your favorite team, How long have you been watching football? Tell us.
I mean, I grew up in a football family, so I've been watching football since I was.
There you go.
I mean, in diapers, but a little bit about me. 25. Big Steeler fan. So, grandfather grew up in Pittsburgh. Played football at Rutgers University. So we've always had the Pittsburgh roots. Met my grandmother at Rutgers. So I am a Steeler fan. Good team to root for most of my life, but unfortunately don't have all the rings to show for it
you've got
as much
two.
as I'd want that. It's been 2. I want to say 4 or 5 is what I'm going for, but haven't had a losing season in my lifetime under Tomlin, obviously. So it's been.
They're kind of like the
so
Yankees,
far.
a little bit, success-wise, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know that baseball feeling, but yeah, successful. Kind of do it the right way. Unfortunately, once you're so successful in the NFL, it's tough to maintain that, and Tomlin's done that. So it's a little tough once it gets into October, November and December.
Yeah.
We'll see. We got we're gonna talk about the Steelers coming up here in a little bit. Kyle, you also won our fantasy league the other day.
Oh,
so
congratulations!
You are no longer a ringless fool like myself.
I did. Thank you. No. Yeah, no longer a ringless fool. In a very competitive league. Matt's got a great team every year, but always gotten to the semifinals.
You've been there a few
Not
times,
always,
though.
but whenever I've gotten there, I've always, I want to say 4 times, lost all 4 times. But of course, I remember that. But it was a really good run. I had a good team that was somehow 7-7. But you just get into the playoffs, you make a run, and you beat 3 ex-champions. I mean, everyone's won twice that I beat, so it was good. I mean,
Dude,
Jonathan Taylor, man, what can I
He's
say?
unreal,
Jonathan
especially in
Taylor
that league.
just,
It's like no PPR, 4-point passing touchdowns, like very rigid scoring. Running backs are like top priority in that league. JT's unreal, literally carried.
Yeah, and unbelievable. I've had him on my team 3 of the last 4 years. I want to say, always had the injury, always had the Colts are. I mean, they did it this year again, but clearly. They rely on him. He always comes through. Unfortunately, no one else really showed up, including their defense, probably against the worst team in the league yesterday. So, tough game, but it was a good game for a casual observer like myself who, got a player on the team.
Dude, I got fucked in fantasy. This guy put up like 190 on me.
Oh, boy.
He had Herbo. I was in the ship, and it's Jason Buffalo's league, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Herbo. He had Herbo, Derrick Henry, T. Higgins, Eagles defense, Devonta Smith.
F's in the chat.
Bruh.
Just everyone.
I had a good team too.
Yeah,
like I had Bryce Young. He did all right. Let's be honest, Kyle. He did all right. He started Bryce Young. Too.
Yeah,
I also started
Bryce
Bryce Young
Young.
on those I won.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
This guy's going for 450, and then after that first drive, he connects with Thielen for that touchdown.
Dude, they never had the ball. They never had the ball. It was
match.
crazy. Yeah. So I had Bryce Young. I had Saquon, who ended up he didn't score, but he ended up doing all right. I had Mike Evans. I had Bucky Irving. Like I had a great week. He just had an unreal week. So.
Yeah,
I mean,
to see it.
Picking a lineup is like half the battle in fantasy. You just never know.
I mean, I got so lucky. I can't get that much more lucky on picks. Again, I was between Ford and Dobbins, and that worked out for Dobbins, and it just went down the line. So I got very lucky, but happy to be off
the ringless schneid.
The ringless fool column. Yes, there's only 2 of those left. I don't have to name who they are, but
and speaking of I guess the opposite of winning, Kyle or KB. That's gonna take a little bit to get used to. What's going on with the teas, brother?
Dude, I don't know.
Can you give us
we got a winner this week.
Can you give us a winner?
It's a winner.
We're 0-4, dude. I'm gonna have to explain to Liz why I can't pay the bills. I mean, come on.
Just wait for the playoffs.
I mean, at least
I think the wild card divisional round, when it's just those games to focus on.
All right.
Those are going to be auto locks.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, all right? Meanwhile, if the Lions win tonight, I'm going to have another 13-3 record.
Wow.
I'm on pace to have my best record in the 6 years I've been doing this, best record. So, hopefully to finish strong.
There you go.
All right, let's get into some news. and then we'll head into these games. I'll give you guys the bad news first. Unfortunately, longtime former NFL and CBS broadcaster Greg Gumbel passed away on Friday at the age of 76 after a battle with cancer. Best known for announcing Super Bowl 35. I always really liked him on college basketball. I don't know if you watch college basketball, KD.
I watched March.
I know Kyle
That's
does,
it.
but do you know Greg Gumbel very
watch
well?
way too much of it, but yeah, it's
of course.
him and the
So
crew.
he will be
CBS
missed.
crew, yeah.
He did do a little bit of football, but I think he stepped away within the last year or two, due to health concerns. Good news, though, it was a big record-breaking week in the sport. We've got Lamar Jackson, who became the all-time rusher among NFL quarterbacks, surpassing the great Michael Vick.
Wow.
I think the headline there is, though, that
wow.
he did it in 41 games. Like, that's insane. Dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is probably what his.
Well,
Yeah.
2018 was his
Starting
rookie
season.
year.
He only started like 2 games that year.
And I think he's... Yeah, and then I think he
sat
started
behind Flacco
in
for a
19
year, right?
forward. So this would be his 6th
19,
full year?
6, yeah.
That's insane.
19, 20, 21, 22, 20.
Yeah.
He's had a couple.
Yeah,
injuries
2
there
reigning
and
MVP.
whatnot, So
Yeah.
it's-
Could potentially get
Very
MVP
impressive.
again.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a little bit because there is a conversation to be had.
I mean, there's a guy in Cincinnati right now.
Brock Bowers set the NFL record for most receptions by a rookie in NFL history with 108, surpassing Puka Nacua, who set the record last year with 105. And believe it or not, Malik Neighbors has 104. So could be interesting to see who ends up with more receptions.
Womp womp.
And finally, Saquon Barkley became the 9th player in NFL history with over 2,000 rushing yards in one season. And he is only 101 yards away from surpassing Eric Dickerson to break the NFL single-season record.
Wow.
We'll get into, whether or not the Eagles should start him. I have some opinions. I know you have some
I have
opinions.
some
KD.
opinions.
We'll get Kyle's opinions as well. I got this really cool shirt, though. Look at this, guys. Shout out my boy Connor.
Wow,
for
wow,
hooking me
wow.
up with Secret Santa gift. If you can't see Kyle, it's
It's the reverse
the reverse hurdle.
yeah. I saw it as you
Sick,
were
dude.
sitting down.
Yeah.
It's a graphic T-shirt, but I
Love
don't
this
know
shit,
it's
dude.
graphic.
It's so cool. A couple more things before we get into the games. Former Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll has expressed interest in the Bears head coaching job, and he says he would like to return to the sidelines next season per Adam Schefter.
Wow.
I think that could make sense.
He's old though.
I mean,
they need someone to rebuild the franchise from the ground
They
up.
need- But
You
you
need
need
a-
an
you need an
offensive guy.
offensive
They need to
guy.
sell the fucking team, bro. They're so mismanaged. They might be one of
The
the worst.
McGaskies.
They might be one of the worst managed.
Dude, not
franchises.
having a competent ownership is one of the biggest advantages that I feel like isn't talked enough in sports.
No, absolutely. And the Bears don't have that. Which
Yeah, and it's also like, let's say they hit on Pete Carroll, and then Pete Carroll brings in an offense coordinator. Caleb Williams, I'm still very confident. in the
Yeah,
guy. I
dude,
think
he's
the
got
guy
nothing.
needs
He needs a
to
good
be
coach.
He's got
some
nothing.
time this year.
And an offensive line.
But at the same time, they bring in a good coordinator. That coordinator will leave after one season. You need to bring in the offensive head coach, whether it's Kingsbury or Brady or another young mind. I'm sure
Yeah,
there's
right.
someone in the McVay.
Yeah, what's his
Entry
name from
that's
Detroit?
Very highly
Ben
regarded.
Johnson.
Ben
Where-
Johnson.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, or
Bobby
Bobby
Slowick's
Slowick's kind of
What, on the
taken off a
Texans?
little bit.
He could be Bobby
He's
Slowick.
not gonna get a
Yeah.
head coaching job after how bad the Texans offense has been this year.
But hey, it's the next guy up. You want to hit on him.
Yeah.
So he's the head coach. He's not going to leave. So I think Pete Carroll to the Bears is
Yeah,
not
could
very
make
likely,
sense.
but
Could make sense. We'll see.
we'll see.
Finally, the results. Unfortunately, this is.
I think we touched this already last week.
Well, we said he was out. I don't know.
Well,
if
I
he's-
said his knee exploded.
Yeah,
I think
well,
that
we
basically
have the
covers it.
definites now. The results are back from Tank Dell's injury. He suffered a torn MCL, LCL, ACL, dislocated his knee, and has major meniscus damage. And he got shot this offseason. The Texans say
Dude,
he's
that might
likely
be
out
career ending.
for they said he's out for the
Next
entire
year, so, too.
2025 season. So like
It's a damn shame.
Yeah, he's
that would have been a fun team.
It's a long
dude. Like
recovery
in
for
theory,
him.
that just like the Texans from last year just sounded so fun. and they added Diggs too. It's like,
Yeah, they just got
Yeah,
hit with the
bad,
injury
man.
bug.
feel bad. All right, let's get into some of these games here. I know we got a lot to talk about.
Let's talk about Christmas.
Let's talk about Christmas. John saying he wants a ND and Georgia preview from Kyle by the end of this. We'll see. Maybe we'll throw in a little college.
All right. We'll see.
Let's start with some Christmas action. Chiefs, man, they're a win machine. They beat the Steelers 29-10. Didn't really feel remotely close. Kyle, this is your team, so I'll let you take the jump on this. What happened, man?
Yeah. I mean, so you're playing against. First of all, I think Steve Sagnuolo is just outdoes himself every time. Every time he has the defense, it seems like where the Chiefs gonna fall off. I will say, it's so hard to watch that first. It's Christmas. You got terrible towels waving. And that first drive, the worthy touchdown, it took the wind out of the sails. Mahomes is playing on one leg. You're like, listen, let's get pressure on him. We thrive in the third and long. I've been really big on our pass rush when we get into third and long. Obviously, we have the best pass rusher in the world. I feel, but our corners have always been a problem, and when we get down, it's just. We play a team against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We make a couple mistakes, and they just kind of can gash us. And it's by committee too. It's not like we said, hey, listen, Pacheco went off for 150 yards and broke a couple big ones. He did.
Yeah.
He had 6 or 7 carries. Hunt split time with him. I know Kelsey had a nice day. I know that was kind of a hard thing for our backers to kind of guard him all day, but it's tough. It's unfortunately. And I know everyone wants to jump on the Steelers' head right now, saying, we haven't won in the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
the schedule has been ridiculous. The Eagles are hotter. The Eagles are hotter than an iron cast skillet. The teams they played. They're playing the Bengals now, and the Bengals
they played 3 of the best teams, and mind you, not even just 3 of the best teams. They played 3 of the best teams in 11 days. That's brutal.
That's just terrible on the schedule makers right there. That's just not fair.
Yeah, and the bad loss obviously at Cleveland.
Yeah.
That was Thursday night game, I believe. That was bad. That was a straight up bad loss. They had that game in hand. They gave it away. But just those are tough games when you play all your divisional games plus at the Eagles and home against the Chiefs on short rest. Mind you, that was a random Wednesday game. That was terrible for the league, but they wanted to play Christmas. It made sense, but it's such a tough road for them. So I think, hey, let's win this week. Let's try to obviously win our division. It's going to be tough because the Browns are going to run out a Pee-wee team against them.
Yeah, Ravens are 17.5-point favorites, by the way.
Yeah, because DTR is playing, bro.
I mean, the Browns. I mean, Kevin Stefanski, who gets so much credit for the whole Joe Flacco thing when Joe Flacco carried that team. I don't care how good Kevin Stefanski is. They clearly are punting on the year. They throw in DTR, who, I'm sure he's a great guy.
Nah,
he's
not even an NFL quarterback.
He's probably a good backup. But when you get rid of Jameis Winston because you don't want to pay his incentives, I think
it's so petty to me, and it's like I get that he's
it's the Browns though.
I get that he's a turnover guy too. I get it, right? And that's part of the reason why I know it's part of the reason is to save money and spend it in free agency or try to get Garrett back to the team or whatever. But it's like he clearly gives you the best chance to win.
Yeah, they're not trying to win. That's why he's not the starter. Not the turnovers.
Yeah, but he should be the starter.
DTR is terrible.
And they need a quarterback, so they're going to obviously tank. They're going to hope they can somehow sneak into a top 3 pick, and they're going to go from there. And, it's a prerogative. They're the Browns. They're not used to winning. That poor fan base will probably never see a Super Bowl. But it is what it is, and they want, bad organizations do bad organization things. And this is the case and example of this year. They punted. They saw the writing on the wall early, and they got out of their own lane. They just said, "Hey, listen, we'll take it easy. We don't want to pay Jameis out. We'll go from here." They have the
They just did a restructure on it, so I think they have an out after next year.
Thank God.
Which it's all dead money to them because
not a suitable person
in the NFL. So it'll be interesting. But I'm a big Russ believer. I think you don't get much better than Russ. think Russ is a very good quarterback in this league. He's with a very depleted offense that doesn't have many weapons besides for George Pickens, who unfortunately doesn't want to run his routes.
I would
he's
hate to have a
all pissed off
wideout
the
on my
world that
team
he's
like
not
that.
catching
Unfortunately, he's
6
so
touchdowns a game.
talented.
Typical
But
Steelers right now. They love those drama receivers.
So sometimes we have to win in spite of him, but we'll take it. Well, listen, we have a home game in Acrisure.
Don't call it that.
Against
call
the
it
Bengals,
Hinesfield.
who are red hot. Just gotta win.
The way God
I
intended.
know.
Come
I
on,
hate
call it
saying
Hinesfield.
it. I know. I have
Yeah,
to
I
get
know.
myself
It's
used to
unfortunately
saying
not
Acrisure.
coming back.
I just got to keep saying it. It's like
Yeah,
Bart
right.
Simpson writing on the chalkboard. You got to just repetitively keep saying it because people are gonna be like, I looked that up on my phone.
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's
Like,
at
"Oh,
Heinz
it's
Field
Steelers
now."
Stadium." And he renamed it after an
Unfortunately.
insurance company. Yeah.
The cheat and Gambus, I won't be repeating that, unfortunately, but there will be no bonus episode about that particular subject. Kansas City clinches the #1 overall seed in the AFC with their win versus Pittsburgh. I hate to be that guy, but Mahomes is really playing well.
Dude, I think it's the Marquise Brown coming back.
I mean,
The
it's a
offense
number
is
of guys.
it's looking what it should be, what they wanted at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's
Because now Xavier Worthy's not taking that Marquise Brown role, and now he's kind of being like the gadget guy, which is what they wanted all
which is what they
along.
wanted him to
And
be.
he's been going off these past 2 weeks.
Yeah, he has been. He's been playing well. This is the first time since the beginning of November that the Chiefs have scored 27-plus points in back-to-back games.
Still not 30 points on the year.
Still not.
Yeah,
still not.
Mahomes
That
is
graphic of teams that have not scored
That's still
30 points
crazy
this
to me.
year, it's like Chiefs. What are
It's
they?
no longer the Giants.
Chiefs 14. Oh, it's no longer the Giants.
No longer the Giants.
No longer the Giants.
All right,
Raiders.
we'll touch brief. Who would you rather have on your
Browns.
team, George Pickens or Garrett Wilson? Asks Mr. Gambus.
Garrett Wilson.
I'd rather have
He's a better
Wilson.
receiver
I think
and less
he's,
drama.
He's better and less drama. Yeah, I think you gotta.
It's clearly one was drafted in the
Yeah.
top 10 for a reason because he's a better receiver. The other one's a very good receiver that has no one around him. I don't blame him for that, but when you're making it about
Yeah, it's
yourself,
tough.
unfortunately, sometimes
Mhm.
it's detriment to the team. So listen, it's the Steelers though, and they have the best coach in the league, in my opinion.
I love
They're
that
gonna turn it around.
confidence.
It's gonna be a
Mhm.
brand
I love that
on
confidence.
Sunday at Acrisure.
Put the Bengals out of their misery, man. What have they ever done, huh? What have they ever done?
Let's do it.
Doubt.
Yeah.
The other Christmas
Yeah.
game, which we'll skip over pretty much. It's a 31-2 drubbing. Ravens over the Texans. Dude, they're lucky they didn't get shut out.
Yeah.
if what is his name didn't make
Yeah,
a
no,
perfect punt
seriously.
and they caused Derrick Henry to get the safety, they would have scored 0.
Yeah.
Dude, CJ Stroud and that offense. I mean, I guess you could point to injuries.
The offensive line is
The
garbage.
O line is
The
terrible.
interior
and they're-
offensive line is terrible.
Yeah, especially
Offensive
the
line's
guard
struggling.
play.
The
Oh my
guard play is terrible.
Yeah. So
Everyone outside of Laramie Tunsil should be
I
fired.
think they get healthy. They're different next year. I don't think it's necessarily anything wrong with Stroud. I mean, Stroud definitely took a step back. Sophomore slump. I mean, you saw what he did in year 1, so I'm not going to overreact and say that, he's cooked or whatever. But definitely something to keep an eye on going into the offseason. They'll have some work to do.
I mean, it's so hard in the NFL. It's like the NFL is such a league where, you give coaches an offseason the game plan for a quarterback, and they're going to find that's what made Brady so great. That's what made, it's Rodgers, his career. He's always revamping his game. He had a bunch of guys around him who weren't all pros, but every single year they had, good coaches around him, obviously, but coaches can only do so
I
much
think
in game stuff.
It was just a lot of inconsistency
hopefully,
with the team around them. I mean, Mixon was in and out of the lineup. You had guys.
Exactly.
Diggs out for the
Diggs
year.
out for the
Tank
year.
Dell's now out for the year. I mean,
Collins was out.
Collins was out for a while. Yeah, I mean,
year.
at some point, you got to stop blaming the quarterback and be like, all right, dude, who am I throwing to? John Mechie? Like, I'm not throwing to John Mechie 10 times a game. Like, no offense, but so.
Yeah.
Thursday night, this was one of the games this week. 6-3 Seahawks. And this game didn't even end up mattering because they were knocked out of the playoffs due to a Commanders win last night. So no more Seahawks. They needed a lot to happen, though, I'm pretty sure.
No,
After the
if the
Rams
Rams, after the Rams won,
Rams-
they just needed like certain teams to lose, and all those teams were favored, and they all won.
They needed a lot. No, they would have needed a lot in week 18.
They would have needed. I think they needed like a bunch of teams to win, and they needed to win.
Yeah.
Which that wasn't gonna happen.
Well, if you like special teams, this was your game to watch. Like, dude, I mean, it was an
Great
outstanding
special team
example
game,
of like
yeah.
how special teams can win you.
Special teams is a third of the game, man.
It is. No,
It
I
is
firmly
a third
agree
of
with
the
that.
game.
I watch every punt. I watch every time Braden Mann for the
Seriously.
Eagles.
Yes.
I watch him all the time. I watch it. There's a guy I follow called Isaac Punts on YouTube. He's great. I've referenced him before. Trying to be an NFL punter. Great channel.
There you go.
Breaks down everything. Dude,
I
Isaac
got
Punts,
Alex
you
on the
would
list.
like him.
That's a good record.
Isaac Punts, he's a good guy.
Isaac Punts. Got it.
I think the Bears actually lost this game on purpose. I think they really did. Like they didn't attempt the 57-yarder to win the game, even though they have Kyron.
Dude, it was like
Sanders.
windy and
I
snowy
don't give a
and
shit, dude. Let him kick.
You're
Seems
not
rather
gonna
do
hit a
that.
57-yarder
It's
with
fourth and
Carlos
10.
Santos
Also-
in freaking Chicago.
Why? Jason
It's a
Myers
windy
did it.
city, bud.
Jason Myers made a 52-yarder earlier in the game.
Well, that's 5 more yards. That's a lot of yards.
Yeah,
But
it
it's-
was
it was
awful.
terrible.
I'd be lying if
I
I told
didn't
you I
even
watched that
watch the whole
game.
thing.
I'd be lying if I told you I watched that game. Yeah, but dude, you also had 2nd and 10, and instead of trying to get closer into field goal range, they threw it deep 3 times.
Oh yeah, because they're
Trying to lose that game.
Caleb plays honestly like it's like college a little bit. I think that's why he needs good coaching because he just like thinks he could just do stuff in like he could do in college, but you can't do that in the pros.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll skip over. Oh, another thing that was crazy. Did you hear they were chanting
Sell the team.
sell the
yeah.
team at Soldier Field, man? Fucking crazy. These Bears fans they're not messing around. No.
They're never
No,
selling
they're not.
that thing.
No, they make so much money off of that. They're like they're the top. Like, do you think the NFL is like so pissed that like the 3 teams in their biggest markets are all dog shit fires?
Yeah, kind of.
Because you got both the New York teams and Chicago, like in the 2 biggest markets,
They
and they're
probably
just garbage teams.
They probably do. They probably do.
Dude, hang the bangers though. Who killed the Bears,
Yeah,
Matt?
Jaden Daniels killed the
Jaden
Bears.
Daniels killed the
He
Bears.
killed the Bears. It's
They lost
They
10
lost
in a
10 in a
row.
row now?
It's just
They were on the verge of 5 and 2.
crazy
Hang
to
the
me.
banner.
It's crazy to me.
Hang the banner.
All right. Let's move on to Saturday. A lot of weeks, a lot of days out of the week this week.
Dude, it was all football.
5
this week,
days,
bud.
bro.
And then they got college.
It was
too?
almost too much.
all football.
I
mean, it was too much. It was just like, especially if you were in a fantasy championship game this week, it was like slow death. It was just like, oh, I have to now wait for another guy to, you know, have the worst game of his career. Like, just. Oh.
Oh, Kyle, you gotta stop screaming. Apparently your mic's echoing.
Wow.
Just try and keep it in one place. I knew there'd be a little bit of issue with the 2 mics next to each other, but we'll make it work. Yeah, we had Saturday football. We'll skip over the first one, 40-7 Chargers over the Patriots. Chargers did clinch a playoff spot. Not something I expected in year 1 of Jim Harbaugh, especially with the receiving core they had around him.
Very fair.
But kudos to the Chargers. There were 2 interesting games though. First of which, Broncos-Bengals, man. Now that was a game.
Dude, hell of a game.
That was a
What
hell
an
of a game.
Insane ending.
I'll tell you what. The more I watch Bo Nix, the more I'm convinced that he belongs in the league. He makes.
He's already convinced that.
I was gonna say, don't say that other quarterback that he reminds you of, because we're not
Nah,
gonna.
not quite.
I think, yeah. To that point, I think Bo Nix is a phenomenal quarterback. Obviously,
Yeah,
very
7
mature. He's in
7
college
years,
for
I think, 8 years.
5 or
I've
6,
spent
was it
14 years.
5 years.
How old am I? I don't know.
But I think that, you know, Sean Payton's obviously an established coach. I thought Drew Brees was the perfect fit together. So I think hopefully that offense keep around. I mean,
They
got
do have to win.
They got to.
No, they're not
Yeah,
in.
they're not in.
They're not in.
Carson
They're not
Wentz
in
holds
yet.
the fate of 3 NFL teams next week.
Dude, oh my God, that's
Carson
crazy.
Wentz.
Yeah, he
Oh,
does,
boy.
right?
He holds the fate of 3 NFL teams.
What a
Carson
story
Wentz.
arc for Carson Wentz.
Yeah, he's got to take off that. He's got to, you know, he's probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
watching
probably
film.
shooting a foul or something. Probably.
Yeah.
Bro, that Mims catch, did you see that? Not even.
That throw.
That-
Not even just
Well, the one
catch.
he had the
Which
one throw that was like a 51-yard dot down the.
Well, yeah, that was
Beautiful.
Little teardrop.
I was talking about the
Teardrop,
one
yeah.
to tie the game.
Yeah, no, and then obviously dude, that was one of the best.
That was one of the best throws and catches
That
I've
was one of the
seen
best.
this season.
Yeah, by far, absolutely. So yeah, Mims scored twice, including the game-tying touchdown. It was something that was really funny to me was that there were 5 possessions in overtime, which is something you don't really see a lot.
Well, yeah, you got the Bengals doinking
In
up
the
And
yeah,
in
in
a
less than
27-yard field goal.
less than 10
10
minutes.
minutes
Yeah, that was
overtime.
another reason I got fucked in
Yeah.
fantasy because Cade York missed a 33-yard field goal. You give me 5 attempts at a 33-yard field goal, I might make one of them. Just saying.
Good old
Dude,
Bengals. Ugh.
I think we have to talk about the MVP discussion though. Like where does Burrow because another great he had over 300 yards, he had over 3 touchdowns. He
Burrow
ran one in.
potentially could be the first quarterback to throw for over 40 touchdowns, over 4,500 passing yards, and less than 10 interceptions, and not win
And
the
not win
MVP.
MVP. Yeah, I mean it's a very valid. I mean,
Crazy.
most valuable player. If you take that at face value, where are the Bengals without him?
They're probably like 3 and
They
13,
probably
around the
have
bottom of
2
the
or 3
basement.
wins. They're a basement dweller.
They're already. Zach Taylor is unfortunately probably already fired if Joe
Yeah,
Burrow's not. It's, Zach Taylor was a bad coach when Joe Burrow got there, and Joe Burrow's elevated the offense. I think it's a good fit for them, but he's
No.
not really been a great coach this year. A lot of decisions that obviously Monday morning quarterback it and 2020
Yeah.
is a bad decision, but
I've-
game stuff. I mean,
I personally
just
think one of the
beats
worst
himself
decisions
sometimes.
they made all year is not starting Chase Brown sooner than they did. Because dude, Zach
Yeah, they
Moss
kinda
was.
sat
I mean,
on him
and
for a
I'll
while,
tell you what,
man.
I was very
Moss.
high on Zach Moss. I drafted
As
him in
was
all
I.
3 leagues in my fantasy leagues. I drafted him. I was like, oh, this guy's gonna fill the roles of Mixon. It'll be perfect. He disappointed tremendously and then got hurt. And then Chase Brown comes in and now the offense now they can actually run the ball. So like they sat on him for a very long time. But yeah, like you were saying, like he leads the league. He leads the NFL in passing yards, leads the league in passing touchdowns. He's 3rd in QBR. Like they would be nothing without him. So I
Yeah.
think it's a very valid question.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll KB. I'll start with you. Who's your MVP right now?
Josh Allen.
Josh. Why?
Because the Bills would also be garbage without Josh Allen.
And the Bills are better than the Bengals.
The Bills are better than
Well,
the
no,
Bengals.
they are. But I'm saying is that
Yeah, that's why the Bills are better than the Bengals. The Bills would be not in the playoffs without Josh Allen. Well, actually, maybe because the AFC East is terrible,
yeah, maybe.
but only because of that.
Yeah, I think the division is also
that probably helps that
really,
you play
really
the
bad this
Patriots
year.
and the Jets twice or 4 times collectively. So,
Yeah. I mean,
Kyle, who's
it's
your
just-
who's
But
your
Burrow has a better supporting cast than Josh Allen, I think. too.
Yeah, he's got more weapons. He's got more
the
weapons.
best receiver in the NFL.
Ooh,
He's got
bold.
he's gonna win the Triple Crown this year.
Yeah, he might.
Jamar.
Because look at that's all he throws to.
Yeah, but he's still like one of the best receivers in the NFL.
I'm not saying he's not.
T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are better than any of the Bills receivers combined.
It's fair. I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And they got Mike Gesicki at tight end. The only thing they don't really have is a running back.
Well,
The Bills have a better running back game.
They have a worse defense
better-
too.
Yeah, they have a worse defense.
The Bengals, that is. Kyle, who's your MVP and why?
I think it's got to be Burrow for the reasons you just pointed out. Burrow has a better record. He's run away. I think it's going to go to Lamar. I think they're going to end up winning the division, unfortunately. I think that they just have a cupcake in week 18. So I think it's going to be Lamar,
it to
but
be Burrow.
I would want it to be Burrow. I just think Burrow is just what he's done, and he's elevated his team to a place where they should be drafting in the top 10 right now. Seriously, their defense is not. Their defense gave up 45
historically
points
bad.
to the Steelers.
Historically
and
bad.
they Mike Hill, they really struggle in their secondary. When they can't cover, they can't have Hendrickson guys getting after the quarterback like they have been in the past. So I think it's got to be Burrow. It probably won't be. So
I mean, for me,
Lamar,
it's
but-
like Lamar. Like if you look at the numbers strictly,
Numbers it should probably be Lamar.
It
but
should probably be Lamar.
Voter fatigue and like people are just gonna justify with Derrick
it's
Henry
so close.
that he's not gonna win.
But
It's gonna be
there's
Allen.
also a fourth name that you have to consider, especially if he breaks. If he breaks,
he's not gonna play.
He's not gonna
week.
play.
we'll get into that in a minute. But if he breaks the record, I think he should be MVP. But he won't win even if he does. That's what I'm gonna say. That being said, if I had to vote for somebody, dude, it's so tough, man. It's so tough. I mean,
Yeah.
Quarterback,
Quarterback's
yeah.
the most valuable
position
position in the
running
game.
back.
Like,
well, yeah, it's intrinsically more valuable than any other position in the sport. So it's like you can't really fault it.
see,
but
if
like,
Saquon had this season last year, I think he would have won it. Just based on the
but
quarterback play
yeah,
last year compared to
probably,
this year.
probably.
Because like Lamar's season was pretty pedestrian last year by his numbers.
Dude, I would
to
say
still win MVP.
I would say give it to Burrow, man. Honestly, they have
If they don't make the playoffs, they're not. There's no way it's gonna be Burrow.
You're
They
probably
have to
right.
make the
You're probably
playoffs.
right. You're probably right. I would say
The
they
only
have
way
to
he
make
has
the
a
playoffs.
shot is they have to make the
Yeah.
playoffs.
I would say they probably have to make the playoffs. So now if they win, they would have to win, and they would need
They need a
Carson.
win,
They would
and
need
they
a
need
Carson
a-
Wentz win.
And they need.
Oh, they need more?
They need Miami to lose. They need Aaron
And the
Rodgers
Dolphins.
to beat Miami.
Oh, because Miami
They
gets
need
in
Miami.
over.
Miami would get in. Miami is a tiebreaker.
God, jeez. So,
The Miami might be. Mike McDaniel might make the
Yeah.
playoffs with 30.
Bro.
Miami, which would be
Bro.
insane.
all right. Saturday cap was the Rams and Cardinals. Rams take this one down 13-9. And then by virtue of a Rams win and victories from the Bills, Vikings, and Commanders on Sunday, the Rams have officially clinched the NFC West via strength of schedule. It does not matter if the Seahawks win in Week 18. The Rams are going to the playoffs.
And hosting a playoff game.
Dude, McVay is
Sean
unreal.
McVay does it
He's-
again.
All this at the beginning of the season.
He's unreal, bro. He's so good. They won
Yeah,
with
but
not much.
not
period.
much.
Like do you remember the amount of injuries they've had this year? Like O
They had
line,
like a 10% chance to make the playoffs, like in the middle of the season.
it was crazy. They were done. They were bad. They were like 1-5 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
win
yeah.
against
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Oh, that win against Minnesota. Because remember
Yeah,
those talks of them
Minnesota.
trading away Stafford to the Vikings or
They
whatever.
also beat
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Like they were gonna can't call it in if they didn't beat Minnesota on that Thursday night game.
Crazy. Trey McBride finally scored.
Yeah.
Good first touchdown of the year for the
Why
tight
couldn't
ends.
he score last week when I needed 1 point to make the finals?
He hits a big
scoring one
incentive
touchdown?
too, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he had an incentive too. That was, I think, the whatever touchdown, maybe it was a yard incentive, but it was all over Twitter. And
Oh,
Kyle
yeah.
was
You knew they
kinda forcing
were.
him, so he got
You
his
knew
money.
they
Yeah.
were.
He got his money, which is good.
Cardinals are eliminated, so of
course,
course it
yeah.
doesn't matter. I did want to talk about the Witherspoon
Dude,
interception.
that was bullshit. That was a
Still,
that
did you-
was
did
that
you
was
see
an
that, Kyle?
interception.
Did you see the play?
No, I didn't see. I saw the highlight. But,
Dude,
yeah,
I-
I watched
did
that.
it-
All the broadcasters and stuff were like, "That's a pick," and I'm like, "He was in the air when he secured it, and it landed on the ground."
I was in a chat and I was like, "That ball clearly hit the ground, right, guys?" They're like, "No, it's a pick." I'm like, "How's that a pick? The ball hit the ground." It's like the reasoning I got was, "Oh, it didn't affect the play, and that rule doesn't matter that it hits the ground as long as he has possession." of it."
Yeah, that's what I heard too. And technically, I guess if you read the rulebook, they did that because of like the Des catch. That's kind of how they changed it.
I don't know if
So,
he
like,
had it though.
but like in my opinion though, like that, like it hit the ground.
I don't know if he
How-
had it, bro.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could say he locked it, but like
Yeah.
he was in the air. Like if a receiver does that, they're not going to count that as a catch.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So I don't know, kind of shady. Is what it is. Rams win. They clinch the NFC West. So, all right, let's move on. Let's go to Buffalo real quick because I know we have a question in the chat.
Wow.
Bills dismantle the Jets. Was it 40-14? Rodgers was benched in the
No
the end of the
500
third
touchdown
quarter.
for him.
end of the third quarter for in favor of Tyrod Taylor. Bills broke a franchise record in this game for most touchdowns by the team in a single season with 61. Crazy, prolific. I guess another vote for Josh Allen. Rodgers has to win out of New York, right?
Dude, I think he's out of the NFL. I think
I mean,
he's retired.
Rodgers is going to go for what he's going for 500.
Yeah, his
I
next
guess,
touchdown
yeah.
is 500.
So, yeah, so hopefully he gets that. He's
Oh,
in-
apparently
he's in the
Rodgers
air,
told the
unfortunately,
what's his face, Ulbrich to take him
Bohm.
out. He said we should probably go Tyrod here at some point.
I mean, he's going to
Yeah.
play for another. He's
I
gonna
think he
play
wants
for another
out,
team
bro.
next year.
This-
So I think it's a matter of
yeah, I agree
when
with that.
is.
Well, yeah, Garrett Wilson said this week he's gonna.
I'm
ask
sure
for
there's
a
a
request.
few suitors that will pay.
What?
Garrett Wilson said that he's gonna request a trade if Aaron Rodgers is back with the team next year.
Really,
Yeah.
really. Dude, they're in shambles, man.
And they got Devontae too. Just sign him up.
Like,
for
there's
whatever his
just a number of
contract is.
things.
So,
Like, yeah, like we're getting a point in the chat here that says like what do you guys think of using Tyrod as a stoppage next year? Here's the and this goes double for the Giants too. You are not in a position to win next year. You're probably not in a position to win in 2 years. There is, and I don't know if either of you agree with me, but there are, in my opinion, 0 organization-changing quarterbacks in this draft. I don't think anybody. Who?
there's one.
Yeah, Cam Ward is the
I
best
don't agree.
quarterback in the class.
I don't.
No doubt. Cam Ward's the second best player in the draft behind Mason Graham, and I'll stick with that because he's good. He has the opportunity, and listen, he might fizzle out. NFL's a hard game, but he has the
See,
opportunity.
I'm not convinced. I'm just not willing to take a risk on a guy that is a project. I wouldn't say he's necessarily a project. He's definitely got talent, but like Cam Ward is not changing your organization. I don't see it. All right, so that's my opinion. So in that right, I think what both New York teams should do is they should trade down in the draft. The Giants could use DeVito for a year. DeVito did very well last year. He got him 3 wins. He did okay this year. I mean, it was a worse team this year, obviously. But he's won in New York, which not everybody can say they've done. You use DeVito if you're the Giants. Yeah, and if you're the Jets, you could use Tyrod. You could use a guy, of similar status if you want to sign a guy off the street, somebody you like, whatever. But you're not in a position to win next year, and you're probably not in a position to win in 2 years. You trade. Both teams need offensive line help. You trade back in the draft. You use that capital over the next 2 years to build your O-line through the draft. You sign guys in free agency to help your secondary. You use the draft to build your pass rush. And then once you're in a position where you have a team around you, because the Jets have Garrett Wilson. I know the Giants don't have much. They have Malik Neighbors, who's very good. Assuming you still have Devontae Adams, I don't think you will, but if you can retain Garrett Wilson, that would be a huge, huge plus for you because he's so talented. So you got to play him.
Got to pay him.
So you retain those playmakers, and then once the organization is in a position to win, that's when you go after the quarterback. It just makes so much more sense to me than we got to get a guy this year. We got to win. We got to win.
I think if you like the guy, you go for the guy.
But owners,
Of
Matt,
course.
are
Oh,
impatient people who made a lot of money, and they have only
Exactly.
a certain amount of time on this earth left, as we all do, and they want to win. And especially case in example with all the Woody Johnson stuff. He wants to win. David Tepper, same way. These guys are ultra successful in their life. They don't want to lose. And unfortunately, when you think you can just plug in something, bad organizations do bad organizational things. It's going to continuously happen. Everyone's trying to find the next Mahomes, but Mahomes walked into a situation with a great coach and
Exactly.
well built out team.
Well, you could also say the same
we'll
for the GMs, right? Because you're putting them in a position where it's like, all right, here's the keys to the car, make it run, and you've got 2-3 years, right? And then if I don't like, if I don't like what you did, you're out. Like, so I get it from these guys' perspectives, but a long-term owner who's invested in the team, who wants their organization to succeed, they should accept sucking for a couple of years because it's not going to work if you just keep mashing the button. You're going to flood the engine. That's what both New York teams have, a flooded engine right now.
Yeah, and Cincinnati lucked out because they got Joe Burrow after having 2.
They were bad.
Being terrible for since
but
Marvin
they
Lewis
were bad for
last
2 years, and they used their draft capital to get guys like Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and they weren't good for Joe Burrow's rookie year. I mean, I know he tore his ACL.
Well, yeah, that's part of the
That's part of the reason. I get it. Yeah, that's probably the reason they got Chase, but they lucked out. So it works out for some teams. It doesn't work out for other teams. I understand that, but if you look at the teams that succeed, they build through the draft. If you don't have a guy who's going to immediately change your organization, don't try and throw a dart in the blind. Yeah.
Detroit Lions.
Example A.
Detroit Lions did that. They took Sewell. And they had just an incredible 2023 draft and they get not lucky, but they got a great 4th rounder.
There you go.
Who's an all-pro receiver. Jared Goff's always been good.
They got Hutch.
They wanted to get rid of him so bad in LA, and
Jameer Gibbs.
Jameer Gibbs, dude.
Great players, and Brad Holmes done a great job.
They got good guys, man.
draft.
All right, we'll move on. We'll touch briefly on the the Cowboys and Eagles games. What was it? Was it 41? Yeah.
41
to 7. My
Bing bong.
John, I hope you're listening. Yeah, so Saquon Barkley did get to 2,000 yards. So what I was going to say, right, I think you start everybody in the first quarter. That includes Jalen Hurts. I don't want him rusty for the playoffs. This is coming from an Eagles fan. This is my perspective. Start everybody, first quarter. I think you can take Jalen out. I think you can take some of the other guys out on defense after the first quarter, maybe a drive or two, whatever. And then I think if Saquon gets to like 40 yards, it's probably closer to 50, but if he gets to like 40-ish yards after the first quarter, I think you ask him. And then I think if they leave it up to the organization, they probably take him out. That would be my guess. But if he wants to go for it and they want to give him an extra drive and he thinks he can get it, I think they'll let him do it. I think they will. So I think he gets anywhere between maybe like 10 to 13, 14 carries before they take him out. So it's possible. What if he just rips one on the first drive? Like, it's possible.
Yeah, no, but like the thing is like the one reason to do it is because like it'd be awesome for him to break the record, but there's like, God forbid he gets hurt. God forbid any of the offensive line get hurt.
Yeah.
Like if you lose Lane Johnson, then you look like an idiot just trying to go for the record. There's one reason for it to work, million reasons not to do it. As much as I would love to see him break the record, I think the best decision is to not go for it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I ultimately agree it sucks, but it would be poetic if he gets it against the Giants. I think that would just be fucking awesome. Yeah, right.
Just a spin in the eye.
I told you Tanner McKee should have been the starter.
I also said Tanner McKee.
He looked so much better than Pickett, and you, Kyle, you know all about Pickett. Did you see the fumble that he threw? He threw the ball into the ground like.
He's like, "Wah!"
I mean, and from my experience with Pickett, right, he was always really good with, and contrary to popular opinion, but he was always really good with the ball. But there was no down.
No,
plus we had
remember back Canada?
I hope, and I mean, I hope he's able to coach somewhere and feed his family. But like, clearly was there way too long. Tomlin doesn't fire coaches. Good thing or bad thing, we can discuss that. But Matt Canada and Pickett together were not a good fit. There's no aerial attack.
You can't throw the ball down.
That's what really,
bro.
That's what I love about Russ, because it's hard when you also have a guy like Pickens who will take himself out of the game mentally if he's not getting the ball, and your number one target besides that is probably Pat Freiermuth, and
right.
just going to take away the middle from you, so you got to go outside to Austin or run it. So that never worked out. I think Kenny Pickett's gonna be a good backup in the league. He's he's an intelligent player. Obviously, he's a ton of experience in college, and it's played a lot of games in the NFL so far in his young career. But the Eagles are loaded. I think they can gut Nick Foles right now.
I don't know about that.
Throw him off the street and he'll throw 4 touchdowns. But
this is their year, man.
I think they're
something special.
They're in a very good position. They are in a loaded NFC though. Like, I think the NFC is so wide open, and like there's literally like 4, maybe 5 teams that could win the NFC this year.
I think any team in the playoffs in the NFC can win.
Honestly,
if they get hot,
like
any of these teams that are in the playoffs
except maybe the Commanders, but even the Commanders,
they got like this aura with them.
Yeah, I know. They just keep winning.
As much as I don't want to admit it, like I think any of the teams in the NFC could go on a run.
Yeah. All right, we'll skip through some of these other ones here. Raiders, Saints. Raiders take care of business. Raiders have played themselves out of the number 1 overall pick, which kind of sucks. But again, I'm of the mindset if you're rooting for your team to lose, unless you're like literally on the verge of a generational talent, I don't think it's worth it. You should always try to win the game.
Yeah.
So they win 25-10 over the Saints. Where my notes go? We got Carolina and Tampa Bay. Rest in peace, please.
Yeah, rest in peace.
48
if I knew Chuba Hubbard was going on the IR, Carolina would not have been in the KBT.
Yeah.
That is part of the
he made it Monday.
Doing it. I have to look into it and see if if we've ever actually won any because of the line movements and doing it early. But that one we definitely lost.
That one we lost big. That one we lost big. Baker Mayfield finished with 359 yards and 5 touchdowns. If you played a Buccaneer in your fantasy matchup, you probably had a good time, unless his name was Rashad White. Like what I was saying, Kyle, like Bryce Young only had the ball for 18 minutes in this game. Like it was a little back and forth. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna
Yeah,
be
he had some
perfect.
nice drives too.
This is-
Honestly,
this-
that touchdown he had at the end of that.
Yeah, like they
I was feeling a little good about the KBTs after that.
they just held. Tampa Bay just did not relinquish the ball.
Carolina's defense is also atrocious.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But
So
you
you
gotta
gotta
be like next year. I think they'll have money. They'll have draft capital back.
Mm-hmm.
If they
load up on the defense. You gotta feel really encouraged with how Bryce
Oh,
Young's
of
been
course,
lately.
dude.
As a lifelong Bryce Young supporter.
Yeah, right, dude.
I am too. I think. Bryce
I'll be
Young's
honest.
great.
I was ready to
think
write
he's,
him off at the end of this.
I always
this
loved
year.
Bryce Young.
Bro, he looked like
And
dogs.
since he almost
I was
missed
kinda
his-
hoping that-
he's the guy. You know, Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes have more Super Bowl losses combined than Bryce Young.
What do you mean?
They have Bryce Young has never lost a Super Bowl. He's the GOAT.
Shut up, dude.
I mean, well, here's the thing with Bryce Young, right? I thought this was coming down the pike, and I'm sure that Carolina was looking for a lot of draft capital back. But I was like, listen, if you're the Dolphins right now, and this is maybe, I want to say, before Tua had the big concussion, it was like, obviously you pay Tua, but Bryce Young is a good backup if you need to really.
Yeah.
The NFL is obviously not for long league where if you have something that happens, which did happen, or maybe shortly after with Tua getting hurt again, Bryce Young. Put him around good coaching. I think.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's
I don't
like
mind
the
him.
reliable
I don't mind
Baker
him.
Mayfield and Geno Smith.
You
You could argue.
And now Bryce Young.
But that's the thing what you need to do, but this is what they need to do, and this is why Carolina went with Canales when there's probably better candidates. They're saying, listen, we got to tie him to an offensive guy. His career is going to be dependent on this coach who's going to stay because he's the head coach. He's not going to leave for another head coaching job. So it's if he had a great coordinator and they brought in Vrabel, let's say, and that coordinator leaves, that coordinator then gets a job, then you're having two offensive coordinators in 2 years, which is what's going to happen to Chicago because they wanted to hold on to Eberflus. So it's always that back and forth where, unfortunately, guys like Vrabel aren't coaching the league who they should be, but it's all because everyone's trying to find the next.
They're trying to find the next
innovator. Trying to find the next guy where it's like, listen, it's higher quarterback. They spent way too much to get Bryce Young. They need to get an offensive guy in there. Frank Reich clearly didn't work. That wasn't a fit, and they pivoted right off him. So hopefully Canales works, but
I think
Bryce
it
Young's
is working.
much better. So
Dude, it wasn't
hopefully
working
it's a
this
long
year
career.
until they sat him down and I don't know what happened in those
Dude, he
three
gave him the magic
weeks.
juice. I don't
Those
know.
3 weeks, I don't know, something happened.
Dude,
but
He heard about our bet, and he was like, Bryce Young, Kyle believes in you, and he wants to get $200 from Matt. Can you please step it up?
no.
And he
And
did.
He answered the call.
Why you lost?
Yeah,
But we're in position week 18.
You're in
Who would've
position to be in
thought?
position. Hashtag Ducky Irving.
Hashtag Ducky Irving.
Uh,
I saw that duck. I knew the KBTs was cooked.
Yeah, we're cooked, man.
Disaster.
Titans Jaguars. The rain was cool, I guess. That was also one of the games. Jaguars win.
That was a game.
20-13. I don't think anything noteworthy happened in that game.
The only thing I saw, they had a broadcast like on the Jumbo, and it was like the Jacksonville mascot fighting Will Levis, and they let Will Levis win.
Oh, they let him
In the
win.
graphic. Even though they're in
Will Levis, who was not
Jacksonville.
playing that week. Oh man. I think there was one other game at 1 o'clock. Oh my god, dude, the Colts and Giants. What the?
Dude,
What
burner.
the fuck? Like, dude, are you kidding me? But what? Am I reading this right?
That game was-
45-33 Giants?
What?
Yeah,
Bruh.
Drew Lock
No, he
threw
threw
5
four,
touchdowns.
and didn't he throw four?
No,
and
he
ran
threw
for
4 and
touchdown.
ran one in. He had 5
Ran one in.
touchdowns. 309. He almost finished
Yeah,
with a
that's right,
perfect
5
passer
touchdowns,
rating.
yeah.
He had 150 and 3 at the half. Couldn't believe my eyes. And then they put back the what?
Should have seen. I wonder how many.
Probably
league users
0.01
Yeah, see.
would be my guess.
Dude, maybe somebody might have
Roster.
started him that lost
Roster.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I thought about it.
I
I was between him and Bryce Young, and obviously I
Is
went by Bryce.
Like, just read this. Like, listen to what I'm about to say. The Giants came in averaging 14.3 points per game, and they dropped 45 and 1 on a team that has playoff aspirations.
You think Colts blow it up? That's what I'm hearing. All the people. Pat McAfee's.
What's your opinion on
season tickets.
What's your opinion on Anthony Richardson, Kyle? Because we've discussed this before.
Anthony Richardson.
No, this
has,
Kyle.
Oh, right. Oops. I've already discussed
tough.
my opinion on Anthony Richardson.
I mean, it's tough, right? Because there's been so many ebbs and flows with that team. I think Steichen's, a great offensive mind. Clearly, Jalen Hurts, he helped elevate to,
Yeah.
superstardom. I think with them, it's just there's something in the water there where I don't know if it's a Ballard situation. Ballard's been there for 8 years. I don't think they have. I don't think they've won a division title since then. Obviously, it's tough, right? They built their team up in a way where Andrew Luck was going to carry them. They signed him long term. He kind
Yeah.
of dropped off, which really hurt them. I understand that point, but they really want to develop Richardson. He's still so young.
He's got to stop
He's
turning
like-
the ball over, dude.
I want to say
He's got
he's
it.
one of the younger, but it's the turnovers but the style of play where it's a run first type mentality where they're running a lot of QB power, QB sweep. I
It's
don't know
not-
how
no.
long term that's going to benefit him. I think their plan is they're gonna start him and they're gonna overpay for a backup. Maybe Tyrod Taylor or
Someone in that universe.
someone in the
someone in that
$7 to
universe.
$10 million range
Mhm.
that they're gonna be like, listen, and I think Steichen's dynamic enough where he can set up the offense around Richardson, but then be able to pivot. It's just tough with them because they have a very going back to ownership. They have a very impulsive owner who wants to win now. He wants to win immediately. So it'd be an interesting situation with them. I think Ballard is this guy, so he's gonna stick with him, somehow. But I think Steichen's, hopefully they finish up and with a win, and I think he'll keep his job. But I think Richardson's it's unfortunately a work in progress with him. He had just a couple sound like when he came out of the game in his own, just learning things that unfortunately in the NFL you cannot stick around and
Yeah.
learn forever. When you're
Not
thrown
for
in,
long.
you gotta win, and if you don't win,
What's the thing you always say
somebody else
about
will,
Anthony
so.
Richardson?
And then Richardson can make throws that 99% of quarterbacks can't make, but he can't make throws that 99% of quarterbacks can make.
It's so accurate. It's so accurate. Like he's just.
yeah.
I don't understand why they don't run more of like the Ravens type offense with like the wishbone with like JT and then maybe sign like another back and like get like a 2-back look or something like because that would take so much like that'd be like who the hell do you cover in that backfield because Richardson can run, Jonathan Taylor can run, and then you get another guy that can run.
Yeah, they get like a really good.
And then if
scat
he
back
learns
or
to just
something.
like make the easy throws and like because he has the arm strength, like that's teachable, and the turnover problem is fixable. But it's like the impulsiveness from his perspective is like he's trying to be Superman on every play. It's kind of like
He's just really raw. He's barely played any football.
he
He's
is
only
very
played-
raw.
He's only what
He-
started like
yeah.
20 games
I don't think he's
ever.
going anywhere anytime soon.
I mean, he is an
Shoot.
absolute specimen.
They
It
could
just-
make that work. They really could.
He's
So
probably the most athletic quarterback.
Yeah, him or
Lamar.
Lamar.
all right, we got 3 more here. One will kind of breeze through. Dolphins over the Browns.
Browns are
20 to
booty
3.
cheeks.
Yeah, I got this one wrong. This is one of mine. My bad, guys. Should not have taken Cleveland. I don't know. I thought Tyler Huntley not good. I took Cleveland. I was like
Cleveland?
trap game first to 14 points wins. I was close. I don't know. I thought they'd have more to play for. I know DTR is terrible. I mean that offense is just
Yeah.
oh my god, atrocious.
Yeah.
There was one really bad roughing the passer call in this game. I don't know if either of you saw that.
No, I wasn't paying
Kyle,
attention.
did you
to
see
game.
that? Fucking Tiki Barber had the game.
I didn't.
None.
Anytime I can't watch.
Yeah,
Tyler
I mean, I
Huntley
had-
and DTR play against each other. It's just you might as well keep the running clock. And
Yeah.
just
I had the red
points
zone
2
on, so they
times.
kept
That's
cutting
pretty
back
much what
to
it
that.
was.
But yeah, it was against Jordan Brooks, and like Tiki Barber was doing the game. And he's like the NFL. He's like, what game are we even playing, guys? Like, come on, the NFL should be ashamed.
Tiki's. Yeah, Tiki was looking for like the snap after the game. I'm sure.
It was a bad call though. Go look it up if you have time. All right, the better game from the 4 o'clock window, since there are only 2, was the Vikings and Packers. Vikings 27, Pack 25. They get it done due to the Vikings win. The game tonight, which I believe just kicked off.
Yeah,
Relatively
it's already started.
It's a nothing.
Zzz,
Could
Yeah,
be a whole
game
nothing
doesn't mean
game, right?
anything.
Yeah, it's a whole nothing game. The Vikings and Lions game in Week 18 will decide the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. That's actually 7-0 Lions or 49ers right now.
49ers, Ricky Pearsall with a touchdown.
Ricky Pearsall, tutty, early,
Okay.
8:30 left in the first. So did you guys watch the game?
Yes.
Kyle, you watched the game? The decision to go for it on fourth down in the second quarter. They were down 7. The Packers were down 7-3. It was 4th and 2. They were at the Minnesota. It was a 40-yard field goal, maybe. I thought they should have taken the points. I really did. I think that was a very weird decision that they decided to go for that.
I think it was the right decision.
I think if you
I thought it was the right decision just because like the way the momentum was swinging in that game, like with Aaron Jones fumbling right at the beginning of the game, Minnesota going down scoring, taking the lead after you
It's a
had
fair
3-0. If you got that fourth down, and also like that's a long field goal. It's not a gimme.
It was like a 40-yarder.
Yeah, but like the Packers have that
fine.
game. Granted, they've been better with McManus.
McManus is solid. He's
I
fine.
think if you get that first down and then you keep going and you score a touchdown there, I think that changes.
I get it.
Later in the game, you can see it. Green Bay is a really momentum-based team, and if they get the momentum going, they're hard to stop.
You're right.
Oh, yeah. They
Yeah.
have a gunslinger
I don't
as a
know. It's
quarterback,
like, look, it's 7-3. It's early. Give me the points on the board. Make it a closer game. They had, like you said, they had the turnover. Get something out of it. Don't leave empty-handed. It's still fine. It's early in the game, and I know it ended up getting away from Green Bay at the end there, and they had to claw their way back. But look at the score. Look at the final score. You lost by 2. There's your 3 points.
Yeah, well, I think LaFleur still got trauma from.
Oh my God, dude,
they're
they're
San Francisco last year. I think he hates anything to do with kicking. So
there's
I
their
don't
special
blame him for going
teams.
for it when you have a guy that can.
No,
bring you back
their
into the
special
game.
teams has been just an absolute catastrophe. Kyle, you're still echoing a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I might have to lower your shit a little bit. Let me see here. We'll see if that helps. Aaron, let us know if that helps a little bit. But yeah, I like you were saying, LaFleur, like, the Packers have been cursed with special teams for the last year and a half now, and they finally got a guy in McManus that can actually kick the ball. Has to feel good. So
yeah, it's
yeah,
knock on wood for them.
That's true.
Yep.
I was gonna say the ball's on O'Connell to go for it. The throw twice at the end of the game.
I mean, you got to play to win though. Those games, you can't play to let the other team win because they knew they had to win that game.
They got it done, man.
So and those are 2 aggressive coaches that are gonna go for the win.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with those decisions. I think you're absolutely right. Wins in front of you, go for it. Don't be don't go soft now. You're here for a reason. So I wanted to ask both of you, Sam Darnold, like how much of the success has been on him, and how much of it's been the team around him. So KB, you start.
I think it's a bit of both. I think that the team around him is the best, like one of the best teams in the NFL. Yeah, with Colin Collins, a great coach. I think the system's great. But I think that you have to give. I think Sam Darnold's not getting enough credit. I think he was a top 5 pick for a reason, top 3 pick for a reason. He's making the throws. A lot of these throws he's making with guys literally breathing down his neck.
Yeah.
And I think that they would not be this good without Sam Darnold. But I think that also like the fact that he's playing with the best receiver in the NFL, one of the best offensive coaches in the NFL in their system. I think that because of that, I think both are getting should get equal credit versus just saying, oh, it's just the system.
No, it's a fair point. I think it's a fair point. What about you, Kyle? How much of this is on Darnold? How much?
So, I think it's Sam Darnold. Really, I think this is a year where he's gotten comfortable with the play calling. He's gone from Adam Gase and Frank Reich to now Kevin O'Connell. So that's a big thing that obviously everyone talks about. He's a great offensive coach, but it really is paying dividends. And Darrishaw's been out.
Yeah, what was it like?
A lot of the year.
That was like middle of the year.
Middle of the year.
He's got
7 or 8,
something like that.
Hurt.
And he's got guys in his face. He's making throws off balance. He's putting his team in position to win the games, and it helps when you got probably the best receiver in the league. But at the same time, they've kind of and obviously Aaron Jones has been a big piece of it too. But if there's no Sam Darnold in there, they're not 14-2. I still think they're an 8 or 9 win team, but I think he is so elevated his game. he's clearly shown, like KB said,
Exactly.
why he's top 5 pick, why he was drafted that high, and this is the year he's putting together. So should be a great test next week. He's going against a really battered defense. So we'll see.
I think that
we'll
the
see how
question
that
for
turns
me,
out.
right, is like, do you think if Kirk Cousins was the quarterback, would they be 14-2 and on the verge of the 1 seed? No.
Kirk Cousins.
No, I don't think so either.
I
Like,
don't
and
think
I
so.
look, I get it. That's not the scheme fit for Kirk down in Atlanta. Partially his fault, partially the scheme's fault.
No,
He doesn't really fit.
Kirk literally cannot move because of his Achilles injury.
Darnold's 10
Darnold's a
years
younger
younger,
guy.
so.
Kirk's on the way out, so it's a number of things, but there's no shot they're playing for the 1 seed next week if Kirk's there. There's no shot.
Because Kirk's legs.
So I think Darnold will. I mean, I guess it depends on where Minnesota goes in the playoffs. I think he's at least secured himself a pretty nice payday in this offseason. So
if you're Minnesota, do you keep
If it's
Darnold
franchise
no matter
tag,
what, or
yeah.
like what if they win the Super Bowl? I think you trade McCarthy and keep Darnold if they win the Super Bowl.
we were talking about this last night, but my thought was if they win the Super Bowl, I think you give him like a 2-year, like $80-90 million a year deal, like a 2-year deal, and play the
Maybe more than that,
but you give him a
short-term
short-term deal for a fuck ton of money, and then you let him, you play out that window, and then it's basically like a Jordan Love situation, right? You just try to milk as much out of that time frame as much as you can, and just try and win as much as you can. So that's what I would do if they go. If not, you probably let him walk, right? I mean, there's a reason you drafted McCarthy. You clearly like the guy. He's clearly the future. You want him to be the future. So I think you probably let him walk.
Win
now while you can first.
You know Darnold works.
Win now while you can first, I would say. If they were end up winning the Super Bowl, that's what I would say. All right, we got one more game. We got the Falcons and the Commies, 30-24 in overtime. Commanders take this one. I mean, we were just talking about Kirk Cousins, but I think it's pretty clear that Penix should have been the starter from day one. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. Kirk, not that long. Kirk Cousins had that like 500-yard game not that long ago.
Bro, there's no way. Look what he's done in 2 games.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I know it's 2 games. I get it's 2 games, but you didn't need Kirk at all. You could have signed someone else temporarily if you really wanted to.
I think they just didn't expect to get Penix where they were in the draft.
I don't think anyone expected them to take them.
Well, yeah, but I think also I think they legitimately did not expect it because you know how many quarterbacks were flying off.
What was it, like 6 out of the first 12 or 5 out of the first 10?
I think they legitimately did not think Penix was going to be available, and I think they were like, "Oh God, we gotta take him."
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, he's looked great though, dude. He was throwing dimes last night. Like honestly, now Atlanta's, they were dominant in the first day. They're up 17-7 at the half. They almost got shut out in the second half if it wasn't for that game-tying drive at the end. But they got after Jaden Daniels. It was as simple as that. Matthew Gion, Grady Jarrett, like they were making him panic all night. They couldn't establish the run game. The pass rush was just non-existent for Atlanta in the second half up until a point. I mean, they let Daniels sit back there, and I mean, I've said this too. I thought Daniels was the best quarterback in this draft. So far I've been right, but the guy has tremendous talent, and you could tell right away when they got the ball in overtime. You could just see it in his eyes. They did not want, he did not want to lose that game at all.
Yeah, we're ready for the Aaron Commander stats.
Oh yeah, you got him.
We'll get it straight from the horse's mouth next week, but. He first wanted to apologize to Benjamin St. Juice. He's been shitting on him on these Commander stats most of the week. But backup Michael Davis was really bad. Half the game was just implementing target Davis regardless of who he's covering. And they couldn't find a receiver that he could cover. So he's just praying to the football gods Lattimore's back for the playoffs for when they face either Puka and Cup.
Yeah, so what's up with him? When is he coming back?
I think he'll probably be back. He'll probably be back by the playoffs. I think he has like a hammy or something.
Yeah.
First 11 season in Aaron's life. Aaron is 26 years old. 10-point second half comebacks in back-to-back games for the first time in franchise history. First rookie to have 10 wins plus 30 touchdowns and 4,000 total yards in NFL history.
Damn.
List of wide receivers with 9,000 receiving yards in their first 900 plus receiving yards in their first 6 seasons. Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, AJ Green, Mike Evans, and Terry McLaurin.
There you go.
And then he said the NFL rushing record was broken yesterday, but for quarterbacks, Jaden Danielle now holds the rookie quarterbacks now holds the NFL record for most rushing yards
By a rookie. In a
by
single
rookie
season.
quarterback in the season.
That's a lot.
Now the Washington Commanders are in the playoffs.
They have clinched.
And he
Commanders.
says, regardless of what happens, this has been the best season of football I've watched in my entire life. And we are in the playoffs out for blood.
There you go. Like Kyle said, or KB, sorry. We'll be hearing from Aaron in person next week, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah, dude, it was a shame. I mean, and they had Atlanta had a chance to win.
I thought Atlanta.
Riley Patterson, I thought he got it. I thought he made that field goal.
just
I
down
really
the
did.
distance.
Yeah, I didn't think he left it short. I thought it was well through.
It's the angles, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's 2 games, and now Atlanta needs to win, and they need Tampa Bay to lose to make the playoffs. So I just think
of what I need.
it's kind of a little bit too late for them, in my opinion. Honestly, I don't think it's I just don't see it, unfortunately. I think they should have. I mean, Kyle, what do you think? Like, they should have gone to Penix earlier, right? Like,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Just the continuity of it's tough to really go to him
that's
right
such
now.
a
and say,
hard
"Let's win
thing
the
to
division."
ask them.
If they were going to go to him, I think go to him. I don't know when their bye was.
Yeah,
Maybe it was an
remember.
early bye and they couldn't go to him then. But I think it's hard to go into division now. So they might have just said, listen, let's rip this Kirk Band-Aid off. Because I'm sure there's injury guarantees in his contract. So they're like, listen, we don't want to pay him out. We clearly want to cut him in March. We like what we see in Penix. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go to Penix, and Kirk's gonna be.
He has been
professional
nothing
about
but a
it.
professional about it.
And we'll cut ties. We'll cut ties in March. Not pay him out the whatever $10 million roster bonus he has, and I'm sure there's a ton of injury guarantees like most contracts have. So, it is what it is, and it's the NFL where you want to throw. You just want to get your quarterback right, and the Falcons clearly went with Kirk, and they said, listen, Kirk, give us one. Obviously, after 2 years, the contract's not guaranteed anymore. You got to pay him the $180 million contract guarantee.
He's gonna.
So, but to them, it's it's dead money for 1 year, and you move on. So it's win now, and that was a division to win in. They didn't make the playoffs.
It's not over
this
yet.
year, so
It's not over yet.
they took
It
the
could.
swing.
They need a lot. It's a tall ask for what are
They need a lot.
They need to win, and they need Bucks to lose to get Saints.
Is it they need the Saints to win. Like
they need the opposite of what I need.
yeah, they need the
tiebreaker,
Saints to
that's
win.
right, they
So
beat 'em twice.
unfortunately, I don't know if that's gonna happen. But any given Sunday, man, if the Giants can beat the Colts and score 45 points, why not? All right. So those are the games from Week 17. KB,
We have our KBTs, the final one of the regular season.
can you please give us a winner?
I hope
Please.
it's a winner. I believe it's a winner.
For the love of God,
Here we
man.
go. Here we go.
My wallet's
First
hurting.
game. Give me the Bengals plus 4.5. The Steelers. I'm sorry, Kyle. They are reeling. There was infighting after that game against the Chiefs, from what I've heard. Pickens is not up to stuff. I think the Bengals are really hot right now, and the fact that we get kind of like a field goal insurance with the plus 4.5, I think that is the play. Bengals playing for their playoff lives.
Yeah, the 4.5 numbers, all right.
Steelers aren't really playing for much. I mean, obviously
They're not locked in yet, Kyle, right?
Steelers
Yeah.
to win the division. They're locked in the playoffs.
They are. They're locked
Not
in.
seeding
They're
wise
just not
locked in,
seeding
so they
wise.
could-
Right now, the
They're in the
Steelers could be the
playoffs,
3 seed if they win and Baltimore somehow loses to DTR on the Browns, which probably won't happen.
Okay.
If the Steelers win, they become the 5 seed and play the Texans. If they lose, they're the 6. Yeah,
Not
if they
optimal.
lose and the
Optimal.
Chargers win, then they drop to the 6 seed and they play the and they gotta go play the Ravens.
We gotta go play in freaking.
So
Gotta play the Ravens. So it's either we play Ravens or
no, it'd be
the
Ravens or
They're a
Texans.
good opportunity. So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like
The Bills are locked into playing the 7th seed, which would be either the Broncos, Bengals, or Dolphins.
yeah, no, Bills are locked. Bills are locked.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's like-
Chargers or,
Yeah, because if I see Pittsburgh winning, I don't know if it's by a touchdown. I don't know.
I think it'd be close. I mean, granted, last time they played, they won by 6.
It's gonna be 2
which
touchdowns.
obviously that would screw us, but I think that the Steelers are reeling, the Bengals are hot. The team of destiny right now.
All right.
So I think I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
All right, 4.5.
Then
So so the implication there is the Bengals are the favorite team.
Yeah, Bengals are favored by 2.5.
Wow. Where's the game?
It's in Steelers.
It's in Acusure.
Acusure.
It's at
in
it's
God
at,
country.
it's, yeah, it's at Pitt.
Our
Yeah.
next
All right.
pick.
All right, Kai.
Our next pick is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -7. The Bucks look really, really, really good. As much as I do not want them in the playoffs, the Saints are a garbage team, which I've been telling you since the very beginning of this podcast. So give me Bucks -7.
That feels free.
Bucks are at home too.
That feels
and
so
they
free.
win, they're in.
Yeah.
So they're gonna blow out the Saints.
That feels so free to me. So
Mike Evans is gonna go off because Lattimore's no longer on the Saints. Mike Evans needs 85 more yards to get his next 1,000-yard season, which he always does. So yeah, Bucks are gonna go off.
that feels free
Give
to me.
Bucks -7.
I agree. 100% agree with that.
Our next game is going to be against the corpse of the Bears that was killed by Jaden Daniels. Give me the Packers -2. Packers aren't really playing for much, to be honest. They can move back up to the 6th seed if the Commanders lose to the Cowboys, which, I mean, the Cowboys beat them earlier in the season.
Nah,
In
not happening.
Dallas, perhaps.
Not happening.
I don't think so.
Not
But
happening.
it could.
I don't
And,
think so.
and Matt LaFleur, I think, was very frustrated with his team. There's the meme of him going around. Like, have you seen the meme of his face? When they got the first down, I think the Minnesota to win the game, he's like, "Ah!" But it's really funny. But I think he's gonna have his team motivated. The Packers own the Bears. The Bears
Yeah.
are dead.
Yeah.
Give me
All
the
right.
Packers -2.
All right, let's do it. All right, I'm in.
And then
I'm
our
in.
last leg, my favorite leg. Give me Minnesota +10. I love Minnesota.
So Detroit's a whole 3-point favorite. Are they home?
At
Okay.
Detroit.
At
They're at
Detroit.
Detroit.
Why is it that Detroit plays every
Minnesota's-
big game
Yeah,
at home?
Minnesota's not favorite. Minnesota's +3 right now. I think Minnesota has been criminally undervalued in like almost all their
Do
games.
you think they just win?
I don't know if they win, but I do not think Detroit beats them by more than 10.
I think they win.
I think they could. I think they could win.
I think
But that's
they win,
why I
dude.
love
I like
them, though.
Minnesota.
I think they
Because
win.
I think Minnesota's really good. Detroit's like pretty banged up. The fact that it's in Detroit makes me think Detroit can win, but I do not see Detroit winning by double digits.
I just think Detroit wins. To be honest, I really do.
You mean Minnesota? Wins.
Or Minnesota wins.
Well,
Yeah.
either way, I mean, then that covers the +10.
I think
That's
I
why I
just
love.
like
That's why I love.
I like
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
+10. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be
Minnesota
close.
has not covered that this entire season
I think it's going to be close.
because all their losses were
Well, they have
within
14
a
wins.
touchdown.
Yeah, they have 14 wins.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be close.
they'll-
I mean,
they'll-
you look at every game Minnesota's played in, win or lose, it's always close.
Mhm.
So, like,
Kevin O'Connell actually has the second best record all time in one-score games.
does it?
Minimum 40 games.
Yeah, but does it feel like that 2022 season?
Well, yeah, that's
2021
definitely
season?
why it's inflated.
Yeah,
But that's still.
I
really
can't help but
impressive.
have that in the back of my head.
John Madden's winning percentage on one-score games, but he's number 3. He's like point. I think Kevin O'Connell's like point.
This team's
It's
different
like
though.
58%.
Their defense this
Look at
year
John
is
Madden's
so much better.
57.
Their defense this year is so much better than it was 2 years ago. It's not even funny. It's so much better. So
And that when they were going that last drive, that like the little out route to the fullback to get the first down, and then they did that one call where they threw it to Cam Akers wide open to get the first down to ice the game. I love Kevin O'Connell's play calling.
yeah, and Flores has changed that defense.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's
Is
changed that defense.
Minnesota the best team in the NFC? People may say
At
so.
this point, probably. I mean, unless you still believe that Detroit is I mean, Detroit's a win machine too. I mean, they just find ways to win.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible that they just keep.
It's gonna be phenomenal.
It's gonna be a great game, and then
It's the first.
they
it's the
flexed
first
it. They
game-
flexed it
yeah,
Sunday
it's
night
the
too.
first
So
It's like the first week 8, like final week of the season game to determine the 1 seed. I think since like a game with like the Giants Cowboys in like 1991 or something like that. That's what I saw. So it's gonna be one for the history books, and it's gonna be a great game because that's huge. Going from potential the 1 seed in the bye versus the 5 seed likely going to face Tampa.
road playoff game
Road
too.
playoff game in Tampa.
Bro, no.
versus
Crazy.
the 1
Road-
seed in the
road
bye.
playoff
That's
game.
I'll tell you what.
enormous difference.
I went to Tampa last year, and I mean, Eagles fans travel well, so the Eagles were represented. But bro,
They didn't.
No,
They
no.
didn't
I
get
mean,
off
they
the
left.
plane
Yeah,
that
they
game.
might as well have left their luggage.
I mean,
on the
there's a
plane.
chance too they could
But-
play the Rams. If the Rams,
I
lose
know,
to
but dude,
Seattle,
that
and
Tampa
wins, Tampa, will
Tampa
become
at
the
the
3
4, that's so tough.
seed.
That's tough for either team.
Yeah.
So, like, that stadium is electric.
Ideally,
It's electric.
you kind of want the Rams at 4, to be honest.
I'd rather have the
You'd
Rams,
rather have
bro.
the Rams.
I'd rather have the Rams, absolutely, because no one goes to Rams games.
Mhm.
Updating the game right now, 7-6, 49ers.
They missed
Jamison
it.
Williams. No, Jamison Williams hit a 3-yard rush. I'm assuming it's an end around. Jake Bake's extra point was blocked.
Wow.
That's big for my brother. 49ers are threatening. It's first and goal. Actually, no, first and 5 at the Detroit 9. So 49ers have gone down the field twice. So have the Lions, but only once.
Is that third place game?
No, because John has Debo and JMO. And wait, and Pete has Jake Bates.
That's right.
That's huge for John. So JMO scored a touchdown, and then Jake Bates got the extra point blocked. That's big, man. That's huge. All right. Oh, we got a touchdown here. Yeah, touchdown just happened.
Who scored?
It says 13-6, so I'll let you know when it updates. All right. We'll wrap up here in just a minute. Let's take a quick look at week 18. I know we talked about. Yeah, I know we talked about Vikings
I
and.
have the playoff scenarios pulled up, so we could just like go over the games that matter.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, so I know we
I'm
talked
gonna
about the
just go
Lions
through-
and
I'm gonna
Vikings.
go through each seed and just say.
Is there no Monday night game?
No, it's all Sunday.
It's all Sunday. It's week 18.
You silly goose.
Oh, no. We got one day this week for
Alright,
football.
I'm gonna go
Thank
through.
God.
I'm gonna go through each seed and what needs to happen. We'll start with the NFC. Obviously, we already talked about it. Minnesota, Detroit winner.
That's
gets
for the
the
1 seed.
2 seed, Phillies locked in. 3 seed, Rams obtain the 3 seed with a win or a Tampa loss. If Tampa wins and LA loses, Tampa jumps to the 3 seed.
No, I'm laughing at a comment. I have to address this real quick. It says, Matt, if you were head coach and you were going to hire Kyle and KB as assistants, who would go where? Offensive and defensive coordinators. I don't know if
I think my Turkey Bowl performance. You gotta put me
I don't
in
know if I-
the seed.
I don't know if I
That
trust you.
That defensive.
I don't know if I trust you with the
stole-
offense.
You stole my defensive formation in Turkey Bowl.
I don't know if I trust you with the offense. So it's either the Steelers offense or the Eagles offense, but you're like Sirianni sometimes.
Well, no, I wouldn't run the.
I know you
wouldn't run
wouldn't.
the Steelers offense.
I don't know,
I would
that's a
just-
good question.
That's a good question.
I would send a lot of
Touchdown was
pistol.
to Kyle Juszczyk, by the way. God,
Fullbacks.
I would probably put Kyle at offensive coordinator. I'd put you at
DC.
DC, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would just sit in 12.
Don't
personnel.
Don't do. All right, so you're
Throw
yeah,
some exotic blitzes and shit.
yeah.
all over the
Could you
place.
imagine 12 personnel in today's NFL? That would be ridiculous, dude. That would be ridiculous. With Lamar,
Run the rock. I love what Harbaugh.
no, you can't do that with guys like Lamar at quarterback. Like what? That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
We'll do like the 46 defense. What was I saying? All right, yeah. So
Yeah.
we talked about Minnesota and Detroit for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So that's
So
that.
that's that. The 3 seeded, if the Rams beat Seattle, and are they in LA, correct?
Let's see.
Yeah,
Seahawks
they're in
at
LA.
Los Angeles, 4:25 Sunday.
Rams win that, they get the 3 seed. If they lose and Tampa wins, then Tampa becomes
The
the
3 seed and okay,
As
Los
we already
Angeles is the
discussed,
4.
a Tampa win gives them the playoffs. He's in the NFC South. If they
Right.
lose and Atlanta wins, Atlanta would steal the 4th seed.
Right. Eagles are locked in at 2.
Eagles are locked in at 2. 5
Home
seed is
against
the
the
loser of
Giants.
Detroit and Minnesota.
Losers
The
to 5
6th seed
seed.
is Washington. If they win, if they lose and Green Bay wins, then Green Bay will jump up to the 6th seed.
So
Green Bay's
Washington
currently
would have to
7th.
lose,
And Green Bay would have to win.
and Washington is where they
Washington's
are.
currently-
Oh, at
they're
Dallas.
Dallas.
All right. So Washington's gonna be the 6th,
Washington's most likely the 6th.
That's
Green Bay's most
crazy.
likely the 2nd.
and Green Bay is where are they at here?
7th.
Home against the Bears, so they're
Yeah,
gonna
so
win
they're
too.
gonna win.
Okay, so I think probably more likely that the Cowboys win. I would say
I think more likely. I think there's a chance.
more likely that the Cowboys win than the Bears.
But
I
we'll
would
see.
say.
Then you got KC is the 1 seed. Bills are the 2 seed. Ravens win, they're the 3. If they lose and Pittsburgh wins, then Pittsburgh's the 3.
Okay, so in Pittsburgh is going to be at. No, they're home against Cincinnati.
Yeah. Which is a big game for both
Dude,
those
I don't
teams.
know. Kyle, what do you think? I mean, I know what you think, but what do you actually think? Who's
In
winning?
terms of
No,
which
who's
they-
winning?
Winning.
Steelers, Bengals. I need your insights.
Oh,
Why?
Steelers are gonna win. Steelers are gonna win. They'll win at home because the Bengals will find a way to lose, and Steelers will hang in there long enough. If it takes 5 field goals, it takes 5
The
field goals.
Boz.
But winning mentality, the winning mentality, and listen, the Steelers are in the playoffs. There's a lot of play for it because we
Right,
don't
right,
want
right.
the Bengals in the playoffs.
Of course.
Obviously, we want
There's
to
incentive
have
there
a
for
clean
sure.
game. We want to play well. Yeah, we want to play well going into whatever matchup we want. We obviously want the Houston matchup. That's probably a better fit for us. But overall, it's Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game since 2016 against the Chiefs pre-Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of talk about it. We have to have a good week here, win this game going into the playoffs, and take it one game at a time. I think we have the quarterback this year. The offense is a little shaky right now. I think we have enough culture and guys in the locker room to put together a good week
did he
here going
convince
into
you?
the playoffs. So
No.
looking forward to that.
I mean, partly it's because I think that if the Steelers end up being the 5 seed, because even if they win in Baltimore's going to win. So, they're the 5 seed, then the Chiefs' path to the Super Bowl is super easy, and I don't want that.
I mean, the Chiefs. How would it work out?
Basically, the way most likely the way it's going to work
I think
out is assuming
the
that
Chiefs don't wanna
assuming
play.
that the Steelers are the 5 seed and the Bengals or whatever, that doesn't matter. Whoever's the 7th, then the Chargers will be the 6th, so they'll play the Ravens. The Ravens will probably beat the Chargers, and then you got the Bills versus the 7th
Okay,
seed.
'cause I was gonna
They'll
say,
probably beat whoever that is, unless it's maybe the Bengals. Then,
And then the Steelers
in
will
that
play
case, the winner of the Steelers-Texans game will play the Chiefs. They, no offense to Kyle, but they will most likely lose to the Chiefs. And then the Chiefs are in the AFC Championship game against the winner
Chiefs are the
of
best
Baltimore Bills.
So there is a scenario where we could get Ravens, Chiefs.
You could potentially get Ravens Chiefs
In the
second
divisional round.
If the Ravens somehow lose to DTR and the Browns and the Steelers win, then you could
They
potentially get Ravens. But
It won't happen.
but if the Steelers lose and the Chargers win, then the Chargers become the 5 seed, and I think the Chargers could have a legitimate chance against the Chiefs.
I like the Chargers to sneakily maybe
That'd be
get
fun.
to an
That would be
AFC title
fun.
game. That's my hot take. I think that they can run the ball. They got JK back, and the coaching is clearly, really. I mean, they have the quarterback. It's when you have a quarterback in that situation. If they have a matchup against the Chiefs, that's the last team the Chiefs probably want to play. They don't want to play a divisional opponent. So it's
You have to beat the
obviously you got to
Chiefs.
beat the Chiefs.
You're gonna have to
the
beat the
AFC
Chiefs.
goes through Mahomes. But if there's a team to beat them, they have the quarterback. I think they have, the defense has really shown up this year. Obviously McConaughey's had a great year. Running, got Dobbins healthy. You can feed him 25 to 30 carries.
Is he going to be
You know,
back?
I think they
Is he
can.
gonna
I
be
think they
back?
can play with anybody. And
Dobbins played.
Oh, he
last
did?
week.
Dobbins
Yeah,
played last
Oh,
week.
shit.
Yeah.
Gus Edwards was
played-
out.
Yeah.
Gus Edwards scored
Yeah,
twice, I thought.
No, he's
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
out.
Oh, shit.
No,
He
Gus
scored
was
twice 2
out.
weeks ago.
Gus was out
against
this week,
Broncos.
and Dobbins ran
Damn.
for
All right,
70.
so
and
he
a
was the one that
touchdown.
went off.
Yeah, and then the 7th seed, that kind of covered the 5, 6.
That was
But the
basically
7th seed is if Denver wins against Carson Wentz,
they're in.
they're in and they're the 7th seed. If they lose to Carson Wentz
And
and
the-
Miami wins, Miami's the 7th seed. Again, they play against the Jets.
Right. So they're at, yeah.
They're in New York, I believe.
No, I don't think it matters where that game is.
They're in New
Actually,
York.
well, it might.
because Miami doesn't play well in cold weather.
No, I'm saying if Tua, yeah, but if Tua plays,
Either
I mean,
2-2 is not
you
going
gotta,
cold weather.
you gotta feel good.
Either way, though, but then you have Miami against the Jets. Miami wins, then they're the 7th seed.
And then if the
Then
Bengals
if
win,
Miami loses, then the Bengals win, the Bengals become the 7th seed and will go face Buffalo.
oh, dude, I want that so bad. I want that so bad.
Dude, everybody wants
I
that.
want
I'd rather
that.
have the Bengals than the Broncos.
Oh my
and
god,
the
that'd be
Dolphins.
sick.
Anything but the Dolphins.
In the
Dolphins
wild
and
card
Dolphins
round?
suck.
Yeah, they'd be limping
No
in there.
Dolphins, please.
Dude, oh shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do the script writers want?
Who do they want, the script writers? Very
So before we head off, Kyle, we've already given our opinions on AFC, NFC, Super Bowl
Oh, you're right.
previews.
Yes.
We want your opinion. We want an AFC winner and an NFC winner, and who you got winning the whole thing.
This is a recap. I have Eagles over Chiefs. Matt has Chiefs over. No, you have Packers over
I think I had.
Bengals. That's what you originally had.
I
You swapped.
No, I had Packers over Bengals originally.
But
and
I
then
think you
had-
swapped it to Packers over Bills.
I have no
Or
idea.
something.
I don't remember, but
don't
I had the
remember.
Packers somewhere in the ship.
You have Packers in the chip.
All right.
So yeah, so
Right.
obviously
Right.
depending on seeding, so with the reseeding, it's obviously really hard. But I think our Steelers, my Steelers, I should say, have a good shot to win that first round game. And even if they play at Baltimore, I think there's still a good chance there. I don't think they have the firepower to win a Buffalo or Kansas City. I'm gonna go. I hate saying this because I think Josh Allen's gonna find a way to beat himself when he gets down the stretch. But I'm just gonna say Lions.
Bills.
Bills.
Okay.
Bills.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, and I think the
You know,
sure Lions
I
win.
would not be mad at all if Detroit
They're
won.
just-
I don't
they
think
have
anybody
it.
would be mad at that. I think that'd be good for football.
I'm gonna-
Right? Detroit needs a
yeah.
win.
That'd be good Super Bowl too. The
I think
Great Lake Bowl.
I think I'm gonna go for the good feel.
Yeah,
the
feel good game.
feel-good
I think I
game.
like that.
Two teams have never won it.
Yeah, let's end on that. I think I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Anybody but the Chiefs, please.
Anybody but the Chiefs, please.
They got
I
to
know,
got
man.
all
It's
roads
gonna be-
go
it's
through
gonna- it's
Kansas
a
City.
gauntlet.
So
John, we're all taking Notre Dame here, right, guys? He's been asking me the whole time. He's been
Notre Dame.
yeah, I mean Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame. I think it's gonna be tough. Their line. Georgia's got two amazing linebackers, Chambliss and Walker, but
and on a quarterback.
I think that Notre Dame. Yeah, I mean they don't have a quarterback, and I think it's if Riley Leonard can throw the ball effectively, I think Notre Dame is probably the best team in the country playing right now. They've just after that Northern
on a roll,
Illinois
man.
loss, they've
They've been on a
found a
roll.
way to put together, and yeah, they could stop if obviously they have to stop the Frazier Etienne the duo, but we'll see. I think it's gonna be a good game, and I think Notre Dame, they can stay in it. I think they're good. They just can't get out to
I
a
agree.
deficit and
Go
really
ND.
run the ball the rest of the game.
All right, Kyle.
So we'll see.
Thank you so much for having
Yes, thank
for
you,
being
Kyle.
here. We'd love to have you on the show again in the future,
thanks,
for
guys.
sure. Just as a reminder, we are back to normal schedule next week, so Tuesday forward, the crazy scheduling is over. So next Tuesday, which I believe is the 7th,
This is 7th.
January
We'll have
7th,
our Week
2025.
18 review on our wild card preview show.
Yeah,
Where Matt and I most likely are going to Eagles wild card round.
we'll see about that. We might save for the divisional. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to a game this year, though. I think we're going to go to a
I think
game.
we're going.
So
I'm going to the wild card and the division.
we might be going to multiple games. We'll see. Aaron will be our special guest next week.
Mm-hmm.
So be on the lookout for that
Facts straight
from the
horse's mouth.
from the horse's mouth
From the
himself.
commie's mouth.
Thank you guys all for watching. This is gonna wrap it up for us for the 2024 calendar year. We'll be back in 2025. We're gonna be
Ready for
back.
January.
We'll be back, dude. It'll be January next time.
I know.
Crazy.
Full nose in the playoffs.
All right.
How exciting.
We'll see y'all next week. Kyle, thanks again. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Happy New Year.